Hey guys, 10 minutes 56 seconds here. So I'm just sitting outside after work. That's why I'm in my rough clothes again. We're dealing with working and with forklifts and front end drivers, front end loaders, and serving customers, cleaning up the backyard, all that type of stuff, all those other things that got to do with being a yardsman. So I know I look rough, but it's alright because it's suitable for the job. So this week I'm just deciding, well, it depends. If I have $100 left over after saving $200 as well as meeting all my needs, then I'll get some clothes. But if it's only $50, then I'm just deciding whether to get another couple of books about spiritual stuff or to get some more clothes, because I got about, apart from those two All Blacks jerseys, I got about another 2 shirts that you can wear uptown and look quite decent. I just don't really have any jeans or long pants that suit them, but I got lots of shorts to suit them. But we're coming into winter, so it looks like I'm just deciding, should I get some couple of decent like jackets, or a decent jacket. But if I'm spending $100 and not going to get those 2 books, hi Daniel, can you let me know when you're free for a chat? Oh, that's the boss just rang me up, because where I'm employed through a working agency, they're the ones who pay me, but I work at this place. So that's what I'm deciding, because I'm very, very cautious about taking any spiritual path, because I do realize there is many different elements to our survival. There's many different elements to our evolution, and there's many different, people say there's heaps of different realities, but the thing is, and it's like different realms. I mean, they're different, but each realm has an effect on the other one. Your physical productivity can be hampered if you're mentally not right, or if you're spiritually something's going on. They all intermingle with each other, and then you got the different realms. So because just being cautious, because I do feel really attracted to those Norse deities, but that's because of the Allfather, the guy who's supposed to be like the leader of it. His name in English means the fury, or the purity of self-awareness. And if you're raised up in a real abusive family and stuff, and you're not allowed to be yourself, like, I had it easier than my father, but according to what he says and what others have said. I mean, if I didn't if there was certain perspectives I had that didn't line up with his about what's a good career, or what's the best sport to play, or just things like that, not so much values in the family, but just, things like that, and I stood my ground and he tried and force this stuff down my throat to change my mind, and it just didn't suit me, and I stood my ground, eventually that would turn into something physical. He would just get it anyway, either way, from his dad. So I find that interesting. The only thing that makes it, because if you go back to my if you go back to my great-grandparents, I don't know about great-great, but if you go back to my great-grandparents, all those names are either Māori or Germanic or Celtic. And, I'm not a fan of any trauma bonds, and the thing is, we carry the DNA of our ancestors, and it was my Germanic ancestors that went in and, well, I don't know if it's mine specifically, but it was a whole group of Germanic guys, probably mine, went in and pushed out the Celts out of England, so they got smashed right out of the country. And like, there's a documentary called The Celtic Holocaust, because this has happened to so many people. Like, my Māori ancestors did it to others, and others did it to them. The Romans did the same to my Germanic ancestors. My Germanic ancestors did it to the Celtic ones. And the Celtic ones, I don't know if they did to any others, I'm not sure. So I know that we carry the DNA of our ancestors, but I also know that my ancestors were also Germanic. And I also know that Odin, translate English, fury of a purity of self-awareness. And as I said before, if my opinions and my perspectives and my hobbies did not line up with that of my parents, I got punished. So I wasn't allowed to be myself unless my own opinion lined up with theirs. So the self-awareness thing can be something that's really, built in. Because I used to always stand my ground, but then there was a certain time when I would beat myself to, a certain extent, but then after a while of copying it, I would just be myself fully when I was around my friends and other close friends and things like that. But as soon as I went home, the things that I was doing, that like hobbies I had that I knew that my parents didn't agree with, like they wanted me to play other sports or hang out with this type of people than that type of people because it makes them look bad, because these types of people don't have as much money as the other ones over here, even though these other ones have been bullying these other ones with less money, or vice versa. I didn't really look into that much. When I want money now, but when I was growing up, I was more focused on trying to get my own peace and my own happiness rather than money. Now it's like I want both. So, yeah. And the Jezebel spirit. See, even when I was growing up, I want you guys, anyone sees this that's like, man, I just can't handle the Hoovers. The Jezebel spirit in the Bible is a biblical example of narcissism. And I was taught about the Jezebel spirit growing up. So, this is my third time moving out of home. And there was other times where I put up the boundaries where I would make sure that I was working the hours that my family members were sleeping, so that I'll be sleeping when they're working, so we would never see each other. And then all that type of stuff. So I had those boundaries on, because once I got past, when I got to my late teens, the mid-teens, that's when all the physical stuff started like really stopping, because I got physically bigger than my father, and you know how narcissists are, they're cowards. They don't mind smacking around a kid that doesn't agree with them, but as soon as that kid's a teenager that's bigger than them, they show their true colours. Anyway, all good. I don't want to speak about him anymore. I'm trying to not stop there. But yeah, it just makes me wonder that, because that whole that name, the fury of purity of your own fury of purity of self-awareness, it's just really fits the mold of exactly what I needed as soon as I got out of that abusive environment, and I was doing meditations and stuff for about a year or so, maybe a bit longer before I left anyway. It's just that whole knowing that another group, those three groups of people make up all the names and the appearances of my 8 great-grandparents, and I just want to make sure I'm not jumping into it, that I'm not operating out of a trauma bond that was passed down from generations and generations. But then on the other hand, those guys who did it, my ancestors. And I had an encounter when I was, doing a meditation to Lur, who's supposed to be the All-Father in the Celtic myth, and he said, "You don't belong to me. You're one of Wodan's." And I said, "Yeah, but also of your ancestry and stuff. Like, you familiar with my ancestry, the Celts? And he goes, yes, but you don't belong to me, you belong to Wodan. And I remember one time being at a home after work one time, and I was thinking, man, what should I do? I feel a bit, don't know what to do. And then I felt like, it was like a huge fire, but it wasn't like real angry. It was just like really intense, like, man up and let's do this. Let's go, let's get it done. And it wasn't like real aggressive, like had anything against me. It's like, let's just do this, And there and behold, I saw a guy with one eye. And he goes, man up, you got this. Don't be a coward. You know what to do. I'm with you. Let's go do this. And then I went and did what we did, solved the problem. So we'll see where things go.